If you want to hear about St. Louis, tune into the Bucket List Show weekly. Hear what Marissa and Luke say. It drops every Wednesday. Got a dope new guest every single week. Buckle up for the ride. Who's it gonna be? Who's on the show today? They rep St. Louis. What to do in the loo on a late night, or maybe what to do on a date night. Yeah, Bucket List has you covered. They know what's going on. What's going on? They'll give you, hey, 18 different things to do, or 19 if you need one more to choose. Yeah, this city is a place we call home. A place we call home, yeah.
Welcome back to the STL Bucket List Show. I am your host, Marissa Farrell.
And I am your other host, Luke Farrell, and we are excited for another episode here at Half Coast Studios. Shout out my guy in the back, Matt, on the ones and twos, putting a perfect episode out for Spotify, Google, YouTube, Apple Music, Apple Podcasts, everything. So, and then of course our friends at the Regional Arts Commission of St. Louis. They're the largest public funder of arts and art programs in the city of St. Louis. And they really, when you guys support art, you support St. Louis. So I think we have an artist in here today. We have an entrepreneur. Marissa can do the introduction.
Okay, so today joining us from La Patisserie, we have Kitt. Villasis-Corbin. I thought I was going to get it right. Welcome. We just went through this.
Yeah, we just did.
How are you today?
I am good. I'm excited. Yeah. I'm a fan of you both. And I love what you do. And you just, everything's positive and just showing people. And that's how it should be. Just showing
support, off the city. And if you guys are watching on YouTube, you can look at all these gifts that we got.
You have to watch. You have to see what she's doing. You have to go to the Instagram page and see the website and just get one of your own. Look at these beautiful cakes and treats.
All edible.
Gingerbread house.
There's a shoe.
This slipper.
A Chanel,
how can we eat this?
A Chanel
How can
heel,
we eat this?
A purse. It's just beautiful. So we're going to get into it and just start with learning a little bit about you, Kitt, and your upbringing and where you're from and just things like that you want to tell us.
I've been here in St. Louis the last 9 years. I married an American, so I grew up in the Philippines, and we had a bit of a long-distance relationship for almost 2 years.
Wow.
He waited.
Yeah.
Loved my job. But then one day we would meet halfway. And one time we met in San Francisco and he proposed.
Oh.
And I'm
Were you totally caught off guard?
Oh yeah, no clue. And his cheeks were like shaking and he was like really awkward. And I'm like, what's happening? And then I don't know how it happened, but his cheeks were really shaking. And he took out a ring and said, my daughter and I would like to ask if you could spend the rest of your life with us. I'm like,
oh, that's so beautiful.
I'm like, are you for sure? Because you don't never know what to say.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And eventually I said yes, and it was New Year's Eve, so we were engaged New Year's Eve, yeah.
Oh, wow.
And we were in San Francisco, but he waited another year.
Yeah.
But he got my dog first.
Okay.
Oh.
So he flew in my dog after 5 months, and then I didn't go here until August.
Okay.
So
yeah.
So you got engaged and then went right back home after
and
that.
Then I came here in August and he prepared everything. I just had to wear my gown and we got married at Larry Moore House.
Okay. Yes.
It was really nice.
Beautiful. So how long have you been married now?
We've been married 9 years now.
9 years.
We have a small boy.
Mm-hmm.
He is turning 7 next year.
Wow. That's amazing.
Love brought me here.
Love did.
Love makes you move.
It does.
Changes your life.
Changes your entire life.
Yeah. When it's worth it and it's the right one. Absolutely.
Yeah, he's a really good guy.
Oh, that's so amazing. I know. I wish we got to meet him because now that you mentioned it, he was at Neiman Marcus at that event. And I'm like, oh.
And your boy was there too.
Oh,
yeah. The whole family was
and
there.
my daughter came to visit from Mexico.
Oh, wow.
So she's staying there now because her fiance is working there, and they're getting married July of I said it to everyone. She might get mad at me. But she's fine.
Yeah.
So that's another thing. She's like, you know how history repeats itself, and she's doing the same thing.
Yeah. She's moving for love.
So she's moving for love, and I don't know if they'll move back to Italy, or he's Italian, and I don't know what their plans are.
So you have a lot of amazing cultures in your family.
Oh, yes,
Blended
yes.
family.
So my mom is of Spanish descent, and my father's side is of Japanese descent. And then they moved to the Philippines, and we were Filipino citizens. And then I moved here. I married an American. So it's super mixed.
So blended. We like mixed, don't we? That's how we like it.
Yeah, absolutely.
So tell us a little bit about just the change of like living in St. Louis from the Philippines and adapting to that. Because I mean, now you have a business here, but before we get to that, let's talk about that change for you.
A lot. And you think you know how it is to live here, because I worked in New York in Wall Street, and I worked in seven other different countries before I married my husband. And you think you know West, but you don't until you get here. And the challenges are from the moment you wake up, from the moment you wake up until like, the books are not the same as actually living here. The language is different because we have different dialects back home, but here there are different ways of saying things like pop and soda. We call it soft drinks.
Yeah.
Just those adjustments and just the difference in race and the different demographics, it's very divided. So I said, how can it be United States, but it's so divided? I'm so confused.
Really? Yeah, that's true.
Yeah.
So you mentioned Wall Street, you mentioned New York, and you had so many different careers before you got into the kitchen. So tell us a little bit about some of the jobs you've worked and some of the cool places you've been.
So I have I have a background in child psychology, communication arts, and then I got a scholarship in UPenn, and I took up criminal psychology. I've had the opportunity. I've lived a really good life. I can't complain. The universe has been really good to me. And I got to write books, and I got to work every job that I like. And this is like the last chapter maybe of my book. I mean, this is my latest, not the last. Oh my God.
Not the last.
The latest chapter of the book of my life. And it's very different from the previous chapters, which is like, I'm okay with it.
Yeah.
This is very different in terms of culture, the way to live. I moved here. I didn't know how to do laundry, or I was crying with my best friend on the phone. Like, I don't know how to operate that thing. Everything is automated. And because where I come from, somebody takes your laundry and it comes back folded. And I have an assistant that will just put it in the closet. Everybody does something for you. And here, women, that's why if I meet a woman here that I know is fabulous and amazing, if I can share anything with you that I have and I will. Yeah. Because I think women here deserve that. Yeah. Women here work work harder. And I thought, I'm turning 52, and I thought I worked really hard in my life. But here you have to take care of the children, have a career, keep home, think of what's for dinner. And it's hard.
It's
taking care of children and a lot. Back home, we have somebody who would make life a little easier for you because it doesn't cost as much to.
Sure.
And it's not as difficult to find some. You have here, I've never experienced labor shortage. Back home, everybody's going to fall in line to like, how can you not have somebody find someone for that specific? And I experienced that as a business owner. Yeah. So these are the challenges and part of the maybe culture.
I was going to say, and culturally, right? Like
yeah, very different.
There's a fight for, independence, and women want to do these things as opposed to like maybe that's different from what you were used to. And so, yeah.
And I would hear people say like, oh, you want independence, but you can't have this and that. But no, we had help. We had help back then. So you come home, you have that peace of mind. So I have 3 older children and each of them grew up with a nanny. And they're like, oh my God, 3. No, because it's not as expensive here. Mm-hmm. So you can go to work, have a career, do whatever you like, your crafts, your hobbies, go swimming. And when you come home, you're not exhausted and you have better quality time for your children.
Yeah.
You're like, hi, you're that cool
You're engaged.
mom.
You're there. You're mentally
You're not like,
present.
oh my God, okay, fix your things. I'm going to prepare for tomorrow. Like, I see that. I've never seen that before until I'm my age, but
over the last 9 years, you've been like talking to women here and you're like, wait, you do all that and you still go home and do this?
Yes. I'm like, wow.
Superheroes.
These are the women. People don't realize American women are the hardest working. There's so much on their plate. And I'm just like, that's why. So that's why we came up with the business.
Yes.
I'm like, just come in. My husband said, you don't even need to make money there. Like, at least let me pay the bills. Let me pay my rent, my electricity. Because I was telling him, and he even realized, like, oh my, I can't imagine my mom working, his mom, working at the postal service, taking care of him as a single mom as well, and making sure that he turns out right.
Yeah, definitely.
It's a lot. And so he realized, and so we were talking about it, and then we came up with this concept. I said, in the other countries that I've been to, from Paris to London to Singapore to China, they have places wherein if you're tired, you're a woman, you just sit there and you'll have coffee, you'll be treated like a queen. And that's, and then that's the regular nature of our service. Everyone who comes there is treated like a queen. We have very few men that come there, but if they do, they're also like, they can't imagine that there's a place that actually, I've had somebody come there, 5 children, she's by herself. And then, so we just like, okay, so we have like a space there where children can play. And then some of the staff are very child friendly. They'll entertain them. So you can just drink your coffee and have a croissant and, just chill. You can stay there as long as you want, except during Saturday brunches because it's pretty tight.
It gets really busy. So that sparked the idea was you were wanting to create this space. So tell us about that process of like, you weren't ever in restaurant industry, were you? Or like,
I did own a cafe in the Philippines, and other businesses, but it's different when you open a business here because it's just you. The registration, the licensing, the inspection,
licenses, liquor license,
the taxes, and like, it's all you, and you're looking for resources to help you. Like, which comes first? None. You just have to like really weed your way and figure out, how do I do this legally?
Yeah, right. All my ducks in a row.
I don't want one day somebody comes, oh, by the way, you didn't pay your taxes.
That's the worst. Shut down.
You're going to be deported. No. I'm like, oh no. So that was another thing because I'm not an American citizen. I was very scared of, just
doing it the right way. And then we came to an era wherein I'm so scared I might get deported. And my husband's like, you'll be fine. All of her papers are in order. I'm like, what is happening? That was a really scary period for
immigrant business owners, because I would talk to others as well. And like, Sue, do you have your papers with you? Like, yeah, like, make sure it's ready. It's in my bag.
Yeah.
And so if they ask for it, like that was the period wherein it was scary.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And then pandemic happened. Like, oh my God, can we get a break?
Right.
Just catching up from one thing
Yes.
or establishing something.
Yes, but the fabulous thing is I started it from home. I'm like, because I don't know anyone here, no friends, no family, don't know anyone except my husband. And he's also not very social. So like, where do we go?
Right.
So you just figure it out on your own.
So you just knew like this is an idea until like how was it like shopping for like the right space? Because the space is amazing and it's a great location.
Yes.
I mean, people love to go there.
Yes.
So how was that process of like finding the right place? And
So I did a 1-year business plan. So you just plan it. And my husband said, why do you do that? I was like, this is the right way to do it.
Gotta
You
have a
figure
plan.
you have to know who you want to come to your store. What's your market, the type of people, the type of demographics. What do you want to serve them? How do you want to serve them? Who are going to be your staff? What's the background of your staff? Every single detail. It's like, why? Like, but that's how you do it. And we don't do it big right away. So no, there's a space, it's cheap and we can do it. No. So I started from home, tried to figure out what are the American taste. And you guys love lemon. So
we do love lemon.
lemon. And when I was starting to bake at home, I couldn't even remember how much lemon cake I've made, and I would deliver it to houses and my neighbors until it expanded, and then I had a small Facebook page. I only started with 104. My Instagram had like 22, and now we have 55, and our Facebook now has over 6,000. Where did they all come from?
You built this community. You built this community of raving fans.
In a span of 7 years. So we started really, really small. So that area, there's a lot of thought why there. One is because of rent. And then 2, it's easier to talk to a landlord that owns it, and you know he's from here and he's not from somewhere in New York, and he'll just say, oh, your rent will increase by 40% next year, and like, either you take it or I knew that these big companies who are not even from Missouri do that. 8 years ago I already knew that. So I'm like, I'm not going to go for that. So the owners are from here. My first landlord is from here, and then my second landlord is also from here, and it
makes sense.
It makes more sense to actually talk to people than just a piece of paper and then return back and forth of and an
just
invoice.
A transaction.
Yes, they're not going to see you as a small business owner or an entrepreneur. They're just going to see you as someone in their books.
You're so important to that community too. And like, did you ever think 7 years ago that you would be like so locally famous now? I mean, everybody knows who you are now.
No clue. I just wanted mamas to have a space to, and then eventually the demographics are much older. And those were my first clients. And they said, I'm in a wheelchair. I have my oxygen with me. So it has to be ADA approved. Our doors should be big enough. Our bathrooms should be able to accommodate a wheelchair. So a lot of thought has been put into why these things are there. At the same time, I like fancy things. So
I love when you said that to me, and I was like, that's my life motto. I like fancy things.
I like fancy things. And then if I can find, because I don't know anyone here, if I can find people that likes what I like fancy things, or like very meticulous and likes to be treated like royalty. You have your towel. We'll put some warm water into it.
Let me tell you a story. When I went with my best friend and they brought the towel, Chanel, she goes, what do I do with this, sir? It was so funny. It's for your hands, to clean your hands. And, she's like, oh, this is fancy.
Everything is, we put thought into everything. The staff are even trained to put the cutlery in a certain way, where to put. So they're trained with that, even with customer service, how to deal with them. But of course, you'll have people that are like, just put it there, or come here. Like we get that. I get different people that they don't know what being courteous is, or they think that they're above us. And but generally, 95% of people that go to the place, they're like, just, this is my break. Somebody is actually serving me. We don't even give you just a box. Like if you want to bring stuff home after you dine, we will take it at the back and pack it properly for you.
I noticed that. I thought she got me gifts when I got home, and I opened it, and it was a waffle. And I was like, oh, I thought she got me gifts.
It was part of what she didn't finish.
Yeah. I was like, oh, did you go shopping? She said, no. She came home.
I went shopping and got all this good food.
And you gave her so many like goodies too. Oh, and I saw the video and like all the goodies,
setup
and it, like we have
beautiful.
today. I'm like, oh my goodness, just sweets
I
on
love
sweets
that.
on sweets.
I just love sharing what we have, and it could be a moment, like last week somebody came in there and she was treating her friend, and her friend called and said, by the way, I can't have the Chanel martini. I'm like, no problem. What else would you like in exchange of it? Because I'm about to tell my friend that I'm pregnant.
Wow.
Like, oh my God. So her friend was the one who booked, but she had to call us because she knew that she was going to have alcoholic
You would have brought
beverage.
it. You would have brought it out.
Yes. So I gave her like the mocktail bubble rosé.
That the kids get.
Yeah, the kids get.
Yeah.
And so her friend was like, I know I ordered 2 Chanel martinis. And then she said, so she told her. And then they were crying.
That's so
and we love moments like that. We sing happy birthday when we find out. Sometimes we have 3 people that have birthdays on the same. We just love moments. I always say the money can come later on. And it always does. You just work hard. You do what you do. My first few years, like my accountant was like, is this a hobby or?
I thought it wasn't, but I guess.
My husband was like, I told my husband, is that what he said? My feelings are so hurt.
Aww.
Let me bake some more.
Right?
Let me make some more. Let me sell some
Channel
more.
that energy.
And give it away.
Yeah.
But as a restaurant and a bakery, like you're going to lose money and you're going to invest. And you said you invested in all the nicest things. All these, you probably spent a lot more money than you really needed to on your space and stuff like that. But
It's always like that.
Yeah.
So I've had other interests here and back home, my husband and I, and it's always like that. You don't, so there's an ROI, the accountant said this. ROI is the first 5 years. Don't expect to make money in the first 5 years. I mean, if you do, like, wow, you're super, super lucky. But because you have investments, equipment, it could be a vehicle, it could be a big machinery, it could be people. I mean, you invest on your staff, you pay, you match their social security, their Medicare. That's a lot of investment. You're not going to get that in the first 5 years unless you're selling like popcorn and like, very few businesses do that. And that's the reality of entrepreneurship. It's the reality of a small business owner. So you have to get your ducks in a row first. I always said, we'll start small. Started from the house, baking in my kitchen until it took over the dining and the living room.
You're like, where are we putting all these cakes?
Where are
We
we
need a
gonna put
place
all-
to.
We need another fridge. And until when we said like, okay, I think we're ready to invest. I'm like, okay, here goes our life savings.
How exciting but scary, right?
Exciting but scary. And then you figure out like, what if they don't come? What if they do? There will be days that, because it's not everyday high, there will be months like if it's snowing and there's like now there's recession. You don't know if people will hold on to their money or have brunch and spend on themselves. But so far lately, they've been spending on themselves.
Keep spending.
It's the holidays and you guys have been busy.
It's crazy busy that I've been coming home like wee hours of the morning, like especially if you make croissants. So we make croissants by hand because that machine is like very expensive. It's not the time to invest in it yet. So it's a lot of detailed work, and I'm not going to put out anything that like, I'm just half-hearted. So even the staff are trained. If I hear anyone say, that will do, they're fired. Literally.
And it was said.
Yeah.
We can't have a that will do attitude because this is your life work. This is the money that you've saved and you put on in it. And it's your time. And then you'll hear somebody say, that will do. Like, what? No, you're fired.
We don't roll like
That's
that.
real though, because every opportunity, especially in the hospitality industry, is like you're getting judged every single day by new customers. And if you don't give them an excellent experience, they'll never come back.
Yes.
And if they make a bad review, that's why I want to like, what happens when somebody leaves a bad review?
Oh.
You don't get that many of them, but there always is going to be some.
So we get bad reviews. There was this year alone, somebody ordered a cake and she picked it. Oh, I love it. It's so nice. It's so cute. 2 days later, she's like, I didn't like it. I'm like, you can return the cake and we'll give you back your money. Oh, we already ate it. So
you did like it.
yeah. So you want me to give you back your money for something that you can't return, but you even ate.
That
And-
you enjoyed.
That you enjoyed, but pretended didn't. And then she sent me a photo of what do you call this? Edited.
Oh.
Like she changed the
Photoshop-
saturation. She changed the saturation. So if you look at the photo, it looks really bad. But we have a photo of it.
Yeah.
I mean, we posted it on Instagram and like, oh my God, you know. But she also campaigned her friends and her family, and they posted bad reviews, and we became 4.0 on Google. And I'm like, do we call a lawyer? And I'm like, I figured we contemplated on it, and in the beginning you'll be like, sue her, and but like, I'm not gonna give you a single cent. I'm not gonna give you my time. So I have a team, an admin team that's based in Singapore. They're the ones who handles the reservations, the orders and stuff, and they also handle the Google and.
Yeah.
I can't
hard.
anymore.
Yeah.
And people would say, oh, wow, in Singapore, because it's cheaper. And I'm talking to them and very efficient. And they make sure that, all of the inquiries are, as much as possible, are responded to at a timely manner. While we're asleep, they're responding.
Yeah. That's
So outsourced, and Philippines is very popular with outsourcing because the back end I can't do anymore.
A lot of people use virtual assistants and
Yeah.
stuff like that in the
Yeah.
US. But there's nothing wrong with that. Like you said,
Yeah.
it's like as a small business owner, like you have to find ways to
Yes.
be more efficient at
Yes.
a better cost.
Yes, you don't have to pay for Social Security or all those. You pay taxes when you avail of their services, but you don't have an actual person that you have to invest so much money and time, because I would always explain it to the staff that it's not just your salary. when you're here, the expenses that you incur when you make a mistake, how much is that? If you make a client upset, that costs money. So not everybody understands that, because we are in a business wherein people would come and go. But I want to make sure that if you're going to stay with us, at least learn something.
Definitely.
And then if you move forward, at least you take that with you when you go to college or you move on to another job.
That's how it should be. That's how work should be. You should always leave gaining something.
Yeah.
So let's talk a little bit about your brunches.
Oh, yes.
Famous brunches, because I got to go to one, to the Chanel brunch with my best friend, Chanel. And it was divine, everything. Again, like the meticulous details. And I love the whole concept of like tea and china and tiny dessert. Like I love that. And so like even for my bridal shower, like I did like tea with the bride to be, like it was like that was my whole theme. So it was just such an enjoyable experience, and just again the details of the space, and it was amazing. And that was just one of the brunches, one of the themes that you did, and that's your most popular.
Yes.
Okay.
So,
and then which other ones do you have? Go ahead.
So we also have, so last year we had Dior. Every Mother's Day, we also have Dolce & Gabbana, wherein the store is decorated differently. It's more colorful. It has more of the Paloma and the Majolica designs. And 'cause I love designers. I know their backstories. I can tell you which designer house is the best employer. I can tell you whose child killed who and stuff like that.
House of Gucci. A little of that.
So you have to understand that it's not, the brand became a brand because people behind it worked so hard. That Chanel, for example, was so broke when it only became Chanel after she passed away. But she worked so hard with her designs, and until Karl Lagerfeld took over and became the creative director. So these are brands, and there are creative directors like STL Bucket List, but the creative director is Marissa. Mm-hmm. You know, she's the one who's like, this is where we're going, and you give a direction, and because you have a feel of what the market is. Yeah. So Chanel is one of the best employers among the house brands. But work-life balance, not so much. Not because they're forcing their employees to work so hard, but because they all love what they do. They just want to stay there. Karl passed away in his office, working to the very last day. Hermes, we had Hermes at one point, and Hermes, for example, didn't even want to be in the U.S., not until maybe 2000s, late 90s. He said, I'm not going to sell in America. He only sold in Asia, Middle East, and Africa to royalties. So no royalty in America, no title there, except Queen of Pop, King of Pop, Queen of TikTok.
Yeah, right.
No hierarchy or something.
Yeah.
So he didn't want to until it became popular because of the Kardashians. I mean, it's literally them who brought it here, and then everybody else followed suit. So, yeah. So those house brands, we have those brunches not just because I just like it, but because there's a reason behind it. So we research the food. We research on, if it's Dolce & Gabbana, we have Italian food. If it's Chanel, we have some French stuff. Mm-hmm. So we try to Americanize it as well. Like, I'm like, what American food you have here? I asked this.
Yeah.
Like, they said, chicken and waffles. They don't go together. And they said, yes, they do. So like, but it did. I said, okay, we have to have the best chicken, and the waffle has to be pink and heart shaped. Okay, if we're going to Americanize it, let's put our twist on it. So those brunches are planned at the beginning of the year. Oh, it's we already planned it for next year. So next year we open as House of Gucci.
So that's January, and that will go. So how long?
February and March. So we do it for only 2 months.
Okay.
And every Saturday. And then February, March, April, May would be Dolce & Gabbana and so on and so forth. So we've had breakfast at Tiffany's.
Yep.
I've had influencers that I invited. And one of the reasons why I value the influencers a lot, because in 2020, not 2000, you're probably like not born yet.
95.
95. Okay.
We were 5 years old then.
Okay. So, oh my God, my daughter's so much older. So old. Or come to think of it, she was 90.
She was only 7 years older than us. She said she was 32.
Yeah.
So she was born in 88.
Yeah. Oh my
88
God.
then? Or no.
She said 90.
Right?
90, yeah. Oh my. Ooh.
Yeah.
But I love it. I love life. And if I could share it with each and every person that comes in, and just like, we love when people propose. So it's a venue for, it's our answer to sports bars. That's basically.
Yes.
You have so much sports
We do have
bars
some
here
sports.
everywhere. Can't we have our tea rooms? And I wish other business owners would open tea rooms, and it would be nice, because it promotes culture, it promotes good behavior. I mean, you will not realize, because when you're in a certain place and you change the environment, people are usually in their best behavior.
Right.
And if they have a good experience there, it carries on throughout the day. Like if a mama comes in, like, I'm so exhausted, like, it's okay. The children sit there. We put cups and saucers, and they're all pretending to drink as well. And then the children are behaved, so, and it carries on, and mama is not as stressed. And sorry, mama.
Yeah.
Next time.
One day soon. Next time we talk.
Future mama.
Yes.
So that, it carries on. Wouldn't you want a space for women to just be able to go and just enjoy?
Yeah.
You created a space that you wanted.
Yes.
Because when you were here, you were like, I want something like this.
Yes.
And you created something that you wanted, but you figured out that there's 55,000 other people that want that same exact thing.
Yes. A few men.
Yeah, well, true.
I have men that come there as well. My husband, I'm like, when he goes there, he acts as if he's not from there. I'm like,
he's too cool for school. He's
like, this is very good. And he acts differently. Like his accent, he starts to sound English. And like, oh, this is very nice cup of tea, mama. What?
Why are you talking like that? Right.
Yeah, but
Brings
it
it out of
does.
you.
It brings the positive in you. It just changed the environment.
Yeah. I mean, my best friend and I, like, it's tea time. So then we're sitting there and we're catching up and, just on each other's lives. And it's just a nice space created to connect, to relax.
Yeah, have a moment.
Feel good, feel special. Yeah, you do. You feel special. You get all these, the way that your staff like waits on people, like that just in the forefront. And then you just coming out and like saying hello to everyone again. Like it just all comes full circle. So,
how often do you work? Are you super involved still?
On a regular, normal day, week, basically 7 days a week.
7 days.
I love it. I am blessed to have somebody that helps take care of my son. We brought her here from the Philippines. That's the only thing I asked my husband. I said, I can't function like, you're divided into so many, because I already saw that. I'm a psychologist, so I'm like, the well-being, the mental health, that's important. If you're okay there, you can conquer the world, you can do anything. So, it's not talked about as often, but if you don't want to talk about it, there's a space that you can go to and just have a moment for yourself, drink a cup of tea. And sometimes you don't need to pay her. It's just like, Mama.
We need them to pay for that.
But I also, having said that, I don't want people to have the misconception that like I'm just giving away stuff for free. But I do have really, really generous patrons. When I was beginning, there was an older gentleman, and he would bring his wife, and they would just have tea and a pastry every single time, at least once a week. And then one day, it was a really slow week. This was probably my 3rd year, and I'm still baking, and he just, out of curiosity, so how much do you make in a day? And back then, I'm like, I'll be good if I made $500. And then close shop, go home. I'm like, I cried.
Oh,
I
wow.
cried. And then I didn't realize that there were more, and he's not even from our area. 90% of our guests are not from the area. 90. It's divided between Greater St. Louis and Illinois. So I'm like, and so when people come in and say, I didn't even know you were here, I don't know what to say.
Here we are. We've been here
We've
7
been
years.
here.
Yeah.
Yeah. So it's the people who can travel and will travel for the experience is 90%. So that's it.
We live in South St. Louis, so like Tower Grove area, and that's like a 35, 40
Yeah.
minute drive.
Yeah, that's a bit of a drive.
Yeah.
It's worth it.
I gotta take my grandma there. She's 7 minutes.
Oh,
down the street.
did you visit her afterwards?
I was going. I actually was going to. Sorry,
Maybe
Grandma.
She may be listening.
Sorry, Grandma.
No, I was. But I think we had something that day. But
Oh
I
yeah, we
was.
had something.
We always have something.
had
Of course we
something
did.
come
But
up.
no, I'll have to bring her there. She would love it. That would be so fun. Because we our birthdays are just a couple days apart. Actually, like hers is November 17th and mine's the 21st.
Oh, wow.
So we were trying to find something to do. Maybe we didn't get to go because we're too busy. But
Yeah.
did you want to add anything?
Yeah, so I wanted to talk more about entrepreneurship. You know, as an entrepreneur, like I get inspired like hearing stories like this, and like your story is so long. Your book is so not like like really long, but like you've
I'm
done
really old.
Yeah, not because you're really old, but your book is so long. Like you've had all these different experiences, and now you're in St. Louis. Which tell us about being an entrepreneur in St. Louis, because we have a lot of friends that are business owners, and people seem to me to be very open to give advice. I ask questions to people all the time, and like I don't know if it's like that in other places where you just ask somebody and they're like, "Oh, this is what I do," or "This is how I do this." Or
I tried.
Yeah.
I tried when I opened, because one, I had to deal with, I don't know if I can say it. People didn't think I spoke English in the beginning. So I had
Preconceived notions.
Yes,
About,
because like my husband, and then I come along and I was very quiet, and because you're in a totally different place, you don't know anyone. What will I say? I don't have much to say. So I've gotten like, where are you from?
oh yeah, where are you from? And you're like,
And I'm like, Florissant. And this was just last week. Like, where are you from? I'm like, from Florissant. No. Where? Here. Where? Where? My house? I can't give you my house address. Like, no. And then he figured out, were you born here? I'm like, no.
right.
wow, just
So,
rude.
This is, and it became a normal for me.
Yeah.
Opening a business is not easy for for a woman, for a person of color. And you read about that, moving to America. Oh my God, this is so real. Like I had people come in and say, don't open here. You don't belong here. I'm like, "Wah!" But now I'm like, I tell the staff now, if somebody's rude to you, call me, because I have a rolling pin at the back and several knives. No, I'm kidding.
You do.
It's like you learn to not take that anymore. In the beginning, you'd cry and cry and cry. But as a woman, person of color, a minority, and someone who doesn't know anyone here, because I've literally uprooted my entire life to be with the man I love. But I don't regret that. I mean, he's a wonderful guy. Did you see him?
Great,
So
very
handsome.
supportive.
He's so handsome.
Yeah.
So your experience is different than mine, obviously, because of that factor. It's like it is hard to go to a new place and completely uproot, and
Yes.
and a whole concept that our city wasn't used to this type of, especially Florissant. They're like,
Yeah.
what is this? It's
Yes.
like, there's a lot of sports bars and
Yes.
Chinese restaurants and but there's not like what you made out
Yes.
there. Like in Florissant now, it's either a chain restaurant, a Chinese restaurant, or a sports
Yes.
bar.
When I started making macarons and we sold it, like I would only make one flavor. They didn't know what it was. This was like just 7 years ago. Like, what is that? Why is it so expensive? It takes 24 hours to make. I have to explain. Part of being an entrepreneur is that whatever it is that you do, you educate people. You have to, it's like you need to teach people how to treat you. It will take a while and you get a little beating. I mean, I hope not literally.
little.
Yeah.
Wow.
Physically,
Yes.
no, like mentally.
Yes,
Yeah.
yes, and then
Yeah, I just meant
you'll be
mentally.
exhausted. They'll be like, "Nah, that's not gonna work," because we like our donuts, and no offense to donuts. And one of our good supporters from the very beginning was Old Town Donuts. They'd come there and buy cake pops and stuff. Oh, we don't do this, and they don't know. Every week, my husband would buy donuts there. So there's like a mutual respect, and I made sure that I don't do what they're doing because you need variety. I come from a city of 5 million people, and I come here like 26,000 in the city, 56,000. I'm like, where's everyone? My husband and I would have a joke like, these are all props, so that they're all just in the background. And when you come out, they'll start, pretending to write like the Truman Show. Like it's hard. So to start a business here with all of those boxes sticked is really difficult. And you need to have enough resources. People might criticize me for saying this, but as a person of color, I can't say, oh, I ran out of money. Can I do a GoFundMe and everybody gives me money? I can't do that. I've seen another baker do that. And she's a person of color, and she didn't make anything. But you'll see the big difference of somebody else who will do that, and they'll get thousands and thousands. But the other thing, as an old person, I'll be like, you're not ready. Why you open? You're not ready. In my Filipino accent. Like, okay. Because us, maybe my generation, you make sure that you're ready to open. And if you're not able to sustain your operations in the next 5 years, because that's the ROI, don't. It could be my husband helping me pay the rent to selling a Birkin. It never came to that point, though. I'm like,
Hold on to your Birkin.
You didn't have to sell it
She's
back.
not going anywhere.
and my husband we're not going to sell a bag.
Yeah.
Like, people always in social media can be deceiving but then again, I understand. I'm not going to share, the bad things, because I want to be positive that yes, it's possible to be successful. You don't know in the background, like, oh my God, I have to finish this cake and I'm making only $15 from this one. But hey, you have to do it. But that's why you have to love what you do, because if it doesn't become about money anymore. Of course, who doesn't want to make money? But we're old enough, my husband and I, that we have the resources. We're fortunate that I've worked before. I'm fortunate my husband is working, that we can sustain it. And now it's just running by itself. And I'm like, did you remember when?
Sure. Think back to those times where it wasn't running itself. And
yes.
you were out there.
And nobody wanted. So I would invite influencers back then. Nobody would come because I don't know who they were.
Yeah.
And my turning point was just very recent. 2020, we did a theme Handmaid's Tale.
Oh, cool. We just started watching that show.
It's cool, right?
Yeah.
So we just wanted the show. They have French macarons there, and he likes eggs every morning. So we did the whole menu, and we got canceled. Someone locally just put up a page and and every person that booked either wanted a refund or didn't come. So we prepared the food. Imagine that. We prepared the food and nobody
showed up.
came.
Do they cancel you because of how the show portrays women or
Yes.
something? Even though you're so pro women.
Yes.
I was going to say, you're obviously total feminine. You know,
So
I mean.
it became an issue. Like, did you know that in the book, I'm like, I didn't even read the book.
You just wanted to do something that was
Yes,
a fun
pop
show.
culture.
And we had those costumes.
Yeah, the
we were
red.
all wearing those costumes, and there were 2 influencers that came. I told my husband, I don't want to do this anymore. People are mean. And I was
so
reading all
harsh.
of
You read every comment.
every comment. And
From
that's
that
when I
post?
decided, I'm not reading comments. I'm going to let Singapore handle this. I'm like, I'm not going to let you rent space in my head.
Absolutely.
You did for a while. I'm not going to do that anymore.
Good
So
for you.
I-
Because you're such a you radiate positive energy and like
Yes.
you seem very at peace. Like
Yes.
you're very at peace. I would love to have, I mean, yeah, I'm stressed. It's December and I'm a teacher. I'm
We
stressed.
need another brunch. We
But-
need another brunch. We'll
Yeah,
come
you
by
need
soon.
another brunch.
That's
all
the
we
way
need.
of
A
life.
monthly. Can we get a monthly subscription to the brunch?
There you go.
But that's real though, and just how you've spoke today, like about all these trials and tribulations, but also just all the positive that comes out of it. And really, what makes it better is when this weekend, when you're working and you just see that couple or that pregnancy announcement, or even just the mom and daughter for a birthday. Maybe they haven't seen each
Proposal.
other in a long time. So this is the STL Bucket List show.
Wait, don't.
We don't have to end it on that. I just wanted to talk a
okay,
little bit
go
about
ahead.
St. Louis.
Okay, go ahead.
So I want to hear about some of your favorite spots in St. Louis.
Okay.
I know you've worked, your butt off all these years, but I know you guys get to do date nights. You guys get to
Yes.
go to these things. Where are some of the places that if you had family in town or if you had people over, like where are you guys going to eat? Where are you guys going to like the park? Stuff like that. So
Let's make it date night first.
Okay.
So date night, my husband and I would go to Chop House, 801.
801. Yep.
801. They have the best souffle. And of course, I appreciate,
of course.
the pastry chef there. I don't know her personally, but every time the souffle comes out, it's perfect. You just open it up a little bit, and you can put the creme anglaise. And I appreciate the work because it takes 30 minutes to make it. Wow. And you have to order it ahead. The steak is always perfect the way you want it. And the service is just exquisite. And I appreciate that because that's what we do
That's
as
your
well.
industry.
For like Asian food, we like Corner 17. That's
right.
really, really good. No fuss, just really good food. We also like so many. Oh my God.
Yeah.
I know.
I don't want to miss anyone, but a lot. We go to Union Station. You like this the fountain. I might be butchering the names. I haven't been here long enough.
It's okay.
You got it. You're saying it all right. You are.
So your son likes Union Station and stuff like that.
Union
Yeah.
Station.
Get one of those crazy milkshakes.
Yes.
The soda fountain.
Yeah,
Yeah.
soda fountain. And we go to the aquarium. My son loves to go there. And then where else? For the park, the Forest Park is good. The Art Hill.
That's where we got engaged.
Oh, yeah, I know. I saw your photo.
Yeah.
Oh, you saw.
So cute. I'm like, oh, this kid's.
So cute. You were a fan of us and we were a fan of you, and I'm glad we got to meet.
Now
and we're fans.
acquainted.
We're friends now. So what else?
So I was gonna that's always a fun one to like leave off with. So, but like I wanted to talk about working with the brands a
Yes.
little bit and how that came about for you.
Gosh. So
that was so cool.
it's my first brand deal was Plugra butter. They just reach out of the blue. And here's what I'm saying. People think that you need to have a certain number of following, like millions, and to get brand deals. No, these brands also look at their merchandisers, and their marketing directors also have Instagram. They watch you, they look at you, and they see what you're doing. And then eventually the first one that I got was Plugra, which is Plugra butter. And it was the height of pandemic. And they said, we want you to do a commercial. I'm like, me? Like me, I only have back then, I only had less than 10,000 followers. Like, are you sure it's me? Like, yes, Chef Kitt, it's you. So I'm like, oh. And then they sent all this equipment and they sent me this supply of butter. I'm like, oh, wow. And we shot the whole day. They gave me all this equipment remote.
Wow.
I'm like, wow,
Amazing.
amazing. And then the brands started coming in. Last year, we did Dior, Diamonds in Dior. So I make sure that we say it's a tribute to them. I'm not making shoes or bags that I'm selling. Like, so it's food and they'll consume it. So I think the brands by now already know that that's what we do. And last year I did Dior. They sent me a bag. I'm like, I cried. I put it on Instagram. I'm like, oh, and I did an unboxing because I'm like, is this fake?
What's good?
And then it was a Lady Dior bag. I'm like, is this for real? And I say, just pay it forward. I have way too much stuff. So back in the day when I did commercials for MAC. I was the face of MAC at one point. And
Go ahead, Kitt.
when I was younger, I was like 50 pounds less.
Oh my gosh, stop.
And they would give you a year's supply of makeup. I just gave it all away because like,
Who needs that much makeup?
Yeah, who needs so much makeup? So Dior had sent me a bag. Louis Vuitton just wrote a note. They didn't give anything.
We still love you though.
Yeah, we still love them. And we did an LV theme as well. Yeah. And then recently, this was before Thanksgiving or after Thanksgiving, I just got a DM and somebody from Chanel, I'm like, fake. I'm like, because it's hard to, you get it all the time, but then I'm like, is this for real? And they said, oh, yeah, and we could give all of your guests, as much as the next week and the next week, samples of just sample gifts, and we'll give you the ribbon because you ribbon it yourself.
Right.
Like, oh, yeah. I thought it was just a joke. And then early morning, she came with that box of all that stuff. I'm like, is this for real? Let's pack some cookies and give to them.
Yeah.
They didn't even want much. They
don't want anything from you. They just wanted to give.
They just want to be a part of it. They just want to be a part of it. And that's what I'm saying. Like, you're not competing with them. If anything, you're promoting them.
There are certain restrictions that you can't show this, you can't show that. You can't say that this is official Chanel because it's not official Chanel, but it's a tribute to them. And how our business has been running the last couple of years, the brands already know by now. Some would report me, like your account has been reported for so-and-so. And then I find out it's someone else that just didn't like me. They just sometimes don't like me for me. And you will get that.
You're killing it.
You have haters.
You will
It's
get
haters.
that no matter what business you're in, no matter what industry, you will get that. And at my age, I'm like, sometimes it still gets to you. And sometimes I'm like, I'm old. Like, I don't need this. Like,
I don't need this.
Goodbye.
Brush it off.
That's a good motivation to have. And when you get more successful and as you grow larger, and one of our questions was like, where do you see yourself in 5 to 10 years? I mean, are you gonna
older,
but are you gonna have multiple locations, or are you just happy with one? Or, I'm sure that's on one of your bucket lists.
Yes. One of the things that I'd like to do in the next couple of years is to be able to pass it on. I can only do this for so long. This is an hospitality and food industry has a time frame because you need to have the physical stamina. You work long hours, so many days, and it's you just need to really, really love it.
Right.
And if you're like motivated, like anything that you endeavor, if you're motivated by money, I know that the young people nowadays like it fast, but it never happens that way. unless you're TikTok famous. And, you know, but I don't dance. I don't sing.
We don't
I
do
cannot
that.
twerk. I cannot.
But even that's not real either, though. That could all just go poof.
Yes.
You know?
Very short
Time and place.
Time and place. It has to have all the elements. I just wanted to get back a little bit on the entrepreneurship side, that you need the support of people that matter. Everybody will say, oh, you have to do it this way. Oh, no, do it that way. And but do it the way you want to do it, because if then you become more authentic that way.
Right.
And so having experienced how it is to be canceled,
I didn't even know you got canceled.
we were just quiet about it.
Wow.
But we still posted our photo of all of us wearing the Handmaid's Tale outfit.
Good.
And we had matching face masks back then. So it looked like, I'm like, what if we buy that thing that you just bite into it and it looks like you had those things? It's going too far. Yeah. But
we're already risky doing this. So let's not.
Guess who saved us? So it only took 2 people. So we were like, I think I'm going to close this. Anyway, it's pandemic. And like, I don't want it anymore. You get frustrated because like it could just be one group that made a page about it.
Right.
And then it will happen. And I was at that point, and then I said, okay, let's just invite. I'm like, because I don't know anyone.
Yeah.
Like, okay, I'm just looking at, so I'm looking at Instagram and food blogger. And then Whitney in the City came up.
I knew you were going to say Whitney. She's awesome.
Oh, we love her. And then STL Foodies.
Yeah.
Also awesome.
So they were the 2. And then we said, we're about to have breakfast at Tiffany's. Would you like to? We don't have a lot of dine-in yet. We limited dine-in. Are you okay to stay in the pods? It's outside. It might be cold. I'm like, oh, yeah. And then they came 2 different Saturdays. And every time they came, I'm going to cry. Okay. Every time they came, we had like 1,000 followers after, and people were booking and calling us. The first one was STL. I forgot her name. Sorry.
STL Foodies.
Ashley.
Ashley.
Q, letter Q. Oh my God, I forgot her family. Ashley. Okay. Yeah. She was gorgeous. She came up and she said, no problem. I was not demanding nothing. And then she went to the counter. Where do I pay? I'm like, no, are you sure? Because I'm going to pay. Like, no, this is not how it works. I'm like, oh my God, the fact that she wanted to pay. Right. I'm like, because we've dealt with so many before. Like, I have 20 followers. Right. I'm going to review it. We've had that, and we can't.
You have to be very selective.
Yes.
About who you choose to.
And then the following week, Whitney came. Whitney Share, and I liked her page because she also loved dogs, and my dog just passed away, and the one that my husband brought here, and she was like 13. Yeah, so if you're the dog lover, and I'm like, oh my, I always trust people who love dogs because the way you treat animals is a reflection of who you are as a person. Right. That's so true. I mean, I hope.
Whitney's a big dog person.
And she's a big dog. And she is just so sweet. And she came in, and I even wrote there, said, you don't need to pay. We invite you. Because if we invite you, then, you know, and she's like, are you sure? Are you sure? And these 2 people are probably the core of the influencer industry, because I saw also when they started these past few years, and then they grew bigger and bigger, and their lists became bigger, and they're known, and now I see, they have paid partnerships too. I'm so happy for
genuine people.
They're genuine. What you see is what you get.
Yeah.
And they're really out there. They really go around supporting businesses, and
it's valuable, and like I'm glad that you see the value in it, because like there's a good chance if we go out to dinner, and even if we're just going out by ourselves, when we do a post, and like if I just take a picture of it and post it, I know that there's a good chance that 100 people might actually go there.
Yeah.
And it's the followers are great, but like how many people are actually going to take action and go in, you know, because it is a drive for people that live in St. Charles or live in Belleville, Illinois. But these girls, they trust them because they're authentic.
Yes.
And then they trust them. So they're like thousands. So that helped save you guys during that time.
And after that, like booking started again and we picked up again. You were like at your lowest, like anything bad you experience, something good always comes out. Like we have a saying back home, like if the door closes on you, there's always a window. So they just have to look for that window.
Look for that window. Look for the opening.
That's awesome.
Yeah. So
yeah. And again, that just circles back to what you were saying, like do things the way you want to do it. Because like if everyone else was, you know, pulling their reservations and not showing up, they both were like, well, we're going to go. Like they wanted to go, you know, so.
And the one like tip of advice I read in a book about that is listen to people that have what you want and have been where you've been. Because like you were saying, you can't listen to every single person. Yeah. If you're going to take advice from someone, make sure that they have what you want.
Yes.
You know, so if they have a business that you want, or if they have like the car that you like, it's all these little things, but like they have a life that I want, I might as well listen to what they told me compared to like somebody on Instagram that doesn't even have a profile picture. It's like the fake picture and they're like, you suck.
Yeah. And you could tell that from their posts, it's always like they're always just looking for free lunch. You have people that do that as well. And there are people that's why when when you sent me a message that, oh, my wife is, because I invited you.
And I said, we already have reservations.
I'm like, what on earth? Like, under what name? And then you said her full name. Like, I'm like, is that the same as the Thomas? Like, because we have a Thomas
it was under
here.
my name.
She put her maiden name there.
Like, we were supposed to invite him. Okay, don't worry, we're gonna take care of them. And like, because you sent somebody in the beginning, and I'm like, oh, this girl is so great. She was there. She took pictures, and after that, we also had bookings. I'm like, oh, wow, they're so nice. I'm like, okay, here, I'll give you more stuff.
We always are like that. And we love, like, we obviously love getting invited to places, but there's also something special about just making a reservation and going and then doing it. But like, if a place does need help and they reach out, we try to, if we can't make it, we try to share something in the story. Like, we have to use it as a resource, you know, and not use it like, oh, like we're this media, like pay us all this money. And of course there are instances where like paid partnerships come about where there is ways to make money, but you have to be really smart about it, because if you just sell out, then people don't trust you anymore, you know? So we try to be very strategic about who we work with.
Absolutely.
But we're always down. I mean, just send us a DM. You got my number now. Send me a text. We'll come through, sip my tea.
Yeah, you
talk
come
my
in
shit.
and sip tea.
Yeah, I think we should let them like have tea. Oh,
We should do a video of me in there sipping my tea, like at the New Year's, like talking my shit, sipping my tea.
The only male influencer that has ever been there is Braden.
Yeah, he came there
took
with his
niece.
niece there. Yeah, they went
And
there.
he
I
was
remember
like,
him telling me about that.
Plinking with his niece.
Yeah, he didn't know what to do. And he was the only guy there, and we were full of reservation, and he was the only guy in the room. Everyone was female, and they were all looking at it. You know, Brandon is a good-looking boy, and they were all looking at him and this little girl, and he didn't care.
Yeah.
He was just, you know, working it with his niece, and like, do you like this cake pop? And
I remember the video. It was cute because he was like running around with her in the store and stuff like
so
that.
cute.
That's crazy that I remember like those.
I do too.
I know.
There was one guy there when I was there, him and his wife or girlfriend, and they were having their tea time.
yeah, you'll see one. Yeah, you'll be lucky if you see two at the same time.
Yeah.
But know your audience, you know, and you built it, you know, for who you wanted to build it for. So.
Yeah.
What's your favorite thing to make?
I like doing the French macarons.
Okay.
But now I've graduated from that. So we used to make one flavor only. Now we have 20 every single week.
Wow.
And we sometimes get to sell out on one flavor or two flavors. We have to make again and again and again. And so my sous chef, Therese, she is fabulous. She held the ship together when I was out, and she could now make like 10 batches with her eyes closed.
Yeah.
I love that I see them grow and learn more. And so that's one of the things you do as an entrepreneur. It's not just, you have to give back to your community and,
Well, you are a great leader, great businesswoman, great friend to us now. So thank you so much for coming on the show.
I
We're
had
so
fun.
excited to talk to you. Why don't you tell everybody where they can find you to support the business and things to be looking out for in the upcoming year?
We're located in Florissant, 119 Flower Valley. And you can call us at 314-222-1342. We will be closed for the winter. We always take like a 30-day break.
Good.
I'm
Well deserved.
happy. Looking forward to it.
Nice.
We are open only until this week, Thursday, Friday, and Saturday. And we are open seating, so you don't need to make a reservation. And
You'll be closed all January.
we'll be closed all January.
Nice.
We,
So
we
cut
also
that
take
time.
the time to do repairs and
Touch-ups
upkeep
and
of the place. And
And what's the Instagram?
I'm sorry.
What's your Instagram?
Our Instagram is La Patisserie STL. You were asking me earlier, what does La Patisserie mean?
Oh yes.
Okay.
Define patisserie.
So if you notice, once you get to the store before you come in, it says cakes and pastries. That's what La Patisserie means.
Okay.
So it could be La Patisserie Texas. It could be La Patisserie. So it didn't take. It took me a long time before I actually put my name until I'm confident.
Yeah.
It used to be just La Patisserie, cakes and pastries. But this year I started to put my name on it, and because it also has my husband's name on it. So Kitt Villasis-Corbin, La Patisserie. So
Beautiful.
Well, thank you all for tuning in to another episode of the STL Bucket List Show. We simply just try to highlight the best people in our city. And Chef Kitt is one of those. And if you guys go support, I know they're going to be off for a while, but make those reservations because we have the Dolce one. Or no, the first one is the House of Gucci.
House of Gucci.
House of Gucci. Uh-oh.
Big one.
That'll be fun. And then, of course, Half Coast Studios for hosting the podcast. We couldn't do it. These are very expensive to record and put out a high-quality product. And we just can't thank them enough here at Half Coast Studios and the Regional Arts Commission of St. Louis for always being a great partner of ours, because when you support art, you support St. Louis.
That's right.
See you guys next week.
Bye, guys.
Today they rep St. Louis, yeah. They rep St. Louis. They rep St. Louis.